got a good feeling about today, guys.
Donnie Kite's gonna get through it all and score his first career win in the Saturday Night Racing League Cup Series. What a finish!
It's too little, too late from behind, and Sebastian Marin, your first repeat top split winner of the qualifying series.
We knew it was just a matter of time when Hunter Sr. is victorious.
Josh Adams taking the win at Iowa.
Juicy Spider Motorsports takes home the 1-2-3 finish.
JS Racing. We're in the game.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
Hey Dad, did you know that replacing your cooling system reduces repair costs and improves energy efficiency? Plus it operates more efficiently, which means more money in my pocket. I mean, your pocket.
Hey Dad, did you know that a new cooling system is less noisy and has a smart thermostat you can control from your phone?
How'd you get so smart?
Must be from Mom.
When it comes to your home's most important decisions, make the smart choice and trust your local Cedar Rapids Pro partner. We're in your neighborhood, so call today.
It's a special venue of 3.4 miles, a road course to replace what we used to run in Chicago. The Naval Air Base, live here tonight from Qualcomm Circuit. It's the Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series live on Vspeed. Few drivers might quote Will Ferrell. If you're familiar with Anchorman, I don't have to finish that for you. But here tonight, the Alzheimer Awareness 125. We're ready to go. Drivers still in warm-up. I'm your host, Bradley Cooper. Alex Gagnon filling in over on the other side of the channel. Filling in for Goat Walker. A new circuit that I'm not used to, and a lot of these drivers aren't used to. Here tonight, it's going to be a learning curve. For a lot of these people, it's going to be one of those moments where you wish you had this one back. If you didn't put the practice in prior to this week, if you didn't figure out this racetrack before you got here, it's very, very similar to what we saw at Chicagoland. It's 15 turns and just over 3 miles, almost 3.5. But it is one of those racetracks, if you saw it last Sunday, you know it is a difficult place to get around. And a lot of drivers struggled in real life. They're going to struggle here tonight. We're going to bring those race analysis up on your screen with 38 laps, pit road speed at 35 miles per hour, 6 tire sets available, 2 green-white checkered attempts. The stage is at lap 10. Now, that might seem like a short stage, but that is 30, almost 40 miles here today that these drivers are going to have to run around here before we get to that stage. That is a long time as far as stage racing is concerned, and 50% fuel on the iRacing fixed setup. So if you're just tuning in to this season number 6 of the Chapman Cup Series, you've probably noticed that nothing is for sure. What I can tell you is there's one driver that put a lot of time in, and we're about to get to that name just now. Starting on the top spot with the KLD Pole Award, it's going to be Jeremy Burns in the number 9, top spot. Still rocking that awesome paint scheme. Still based on the military schemes from last week at Pocono. So Jeremy Burns will be on the top position. Rolling through the rest of your grid, though. 2 minutes and almost 10 seconds to get around this place. Trevor Keith in the number 15 will start to the outside in the number 15. Carter Lenz will start in 3rd position. Typical names: Burns, Keith, Lenz. I'm sure we'll see the 56 up here at some point. Michael Call will start in 4th. 5th spot to Justin Ritchie. Brandon Pamitat will start in 6th. 7th spot to Dakota Floyd. You have Parker Johnston in the 8th spot. And rounding out your top 10, Matt Robinson and Tyler Harrison in the 45. Ben Laughter is going to start in 11th spot with Nick Alves in the 24 and 12. You have Grant Thorpe and Trevor Earhart starting at 14th position. Kevin Orlando Jr., sponsor of last week at Pocono. Jacob Sirkovich in 16th. And we roll on to Grant Turner, Ryan Munoz in 18th position. Al Likens and Caleb Gilbert. Caleb Gilbert electing not to take a time. Then you have Dylan Picklesheimer, Jeremiah Nelson side by side in road number 11. Rob Rader and Alex Forget Berube for 23rd and 24th. Justice Murphy and Michael A. Bennett going to start 26th. And rounding out your field, Fred Pennington electing not to take a time as well. So a little bit of frame drop here at this new venue. Hopefully things clear up for us. It is a brand new racetrack here on iRacing. It's a brand new racetrack in real life racing. So if there's any hiccups here tonight, blame the optimization. 3 miles to pace around this place. Wish I was more familiar with it. This will be a Vspeed first. Watched a lot of drivers struggle here in practice. Had a tough time here getting this car to hook up. But I can confidently say that the top 4 on this racetrack put the time in. They're absolutely ready to go. Very narrow sections of this. You can see down that straightaway. This is coming up on turn 11. Very difficult to get around this portion of the racetrack. And if you see that blue line, that is the boundary to get around this. You got to be careful not to go outside of that. You can get a delay penalty, slow down penalty here on iRacing for going outside of that boundary. It's going to be very easy to run off there into the corners. A field full of 27 cars. iRacing pace car about to get out of the way. Racing pace car is pulling to the right. Here we go for 38 laps. Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series is live in San Diego. And already problems for your second place car rather. The 15 of Trevor Keith slides it sideways and falls back. We're going to go back at some point here and take a look at what happened to the 15. Watching here with somewhat of a battle in the top 5. It's Dakota Floyd in the 5th position. didn't get much of a chance to look at this car, so I'm going to take a look at it for now. But last week, not a good showing at Pocono. Up 2 positions already as we approach lap number 2. Jeremy Burns, your leader. No surprise. Fantastic in all of the road races we've had historically. He'll lead lap number 1 from the pole. So let's see if we can go back and find what happened to Trevor Keith. And wheel spin on the restart. Everyone's able to avoid the 15. He's got to be kicking himself over that start. Keith has since worked his way back up. 18th position, now trying to get around the 81 of Munoz. Looking to the right now. Munoz out wide. 15 gonna give a little pinch. Michael Bennett able to get around the 81 as well. Closest battle on the racetrack is actually amongst these drivers. Right on board with Trevor Keith. In the makeup zone. And a car sideways. I believe that was Jacob Sirkovich in the 88. The car off the racetrack, that's Trevor Earhart in the 41. Go back and take a look at what happened to Earhart. He was just behind the 24 Nick Alves, this around the 13th position. We were on board with the 15 when this all went down. Locks up the tire, slides it to the right. And a pretty decent lead here for the 9 car of Burns. Pulls away about a full second. It's Burns, Lenz, Call, Richie, Floyd for the top 5. And it's a workout to get around this racetrack, riding on board with Dakota Floyd. Take a listen. They've stretched out this naval base to 3.4 miles. We're only 4.5 laps into this thing. Floyd on the pneumatic shifter there, working really crazy. It's insane to see how these guys are working this racetrack. Burns still holds on to the top spot. Linz back in second, trailing now, this time by. Problems there for Burns on the connection. Well, I'll give you 2 guesses there, Critical. But you're only going to need 1. Up here in the booth by myself, sometimes it gets a little bit lonely, so if you guys could just keep the chat going, that would be excellent. Stage at lap number 10. We'll put the race analysis back up on your screen. 38 laps here this evening. 6 tire sets, most likely only going to have to use 2 of them. But this could be a weird race, just like Pocono. The distance traveled. You know, all the other road courses that we go to this season, they're less than 3 miles. And a pretty good fuel data for the distance and anywhere we go except for here. Burns on a tear right now. 1 second full ahead. Carter Lenz starting to creep up a little bit closer. You have Michael Call in 3rd position. Justin Ritchie in 4th spot. Dakota Floyd 5th. That's your top 5. Floyd on the move again. Last time by. Almost identical lap times for the top 5. Riding on board with Justin Ritchie. Last lap times on the left-hand side of your screen. Intervals starting to shrink a little bit here. Go back here to Al Likens. This is the Hornet's Nest to the inside. Justice Murphy with a crossover. And a little mistake by Carter Lenz, trailing in second spot. Let's open that lead up to just over 2 seconds. Great crossover work there by Justice Murphy. Got the position back by Lenz. 13 is going to take a while to get back up here. Justin Ritchie is catching up to Michael Call as well this lap. 55 looking bad fast. Mistake there by Cole. He's going to allow the 5 or the 55 to catch up to the 5. Just a little bit here. They continue to ride on board with Justin Ritchie. See if you can find a way around the 5 car before we hit the stage break. Within half a second there for a moment. Trevor Keith back on offense, gonna go down pit road. Quite a few cars down the pit lane. Rob Rader in the 53. We also have Trevor Keith, Nick Alves, Michael Bennett down the pit lane. Down and away for the 14. Burns holds the lead. 1.3 seconds. Doing everything he can to maintain it. Down pit road for the number 9. Tells me the fuel window will put these drivers right around that 2-stop mark. Down and away for the 66. Carter Lynn's gonna take offense over to the 9 who got 4 tires. Can Carter Lynn's drive away. The 5 that's still yet to come down pit road will be your leader now. Looking for a stage win here. All ahead of these drivers, but riding on board with Dakota Floyd. Very spread out for the top 3. We're gonna find out. I don't know if they can make it on the stage, but we're at lap 10, and it looks like they might. A flag in the air right now for Michael Call, Justin Ritchie, Dakota Floyd. Again, I'm not very familiar with this racetrack. I know a lot of you aren't either. Based off the information that I have, it's going to be somewhere around that 12 to 13 lap mark to stretch the fuel. By pit road now, it looks like they do have enough. Gonna seal the deal. Rob Raider just now coming out at turn 15. Across the start finish line for your 10th place driver. This has got to be it for Michael Call. Stage 1 winner. There's your top 10 with stage points. A little late throw on the caution there, but good if Floyd gets around Justin Ritchie. Parker Johnston, Matt Robinson, the top 5. Now there is fuel save after. They could make it to the stage, but can they make it back to pit road? Pit lane closed this time by. They gotta get another lap. That's also a gamble. But this track is big enough for us to take a commercial break before we hit pit stops. You are watching the Chapman Cup Series live on Vspeed. More coverage will continue here at San Diego.
JS Racing. We're in the game.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
Hey Dad, Did you know that replacing your cooling system reduces repair costs and improves energy efficiency? Plus, it operates more efficiently, which means more money in my pocket. I mean, your pocket.
Hey Dad, did you know that a new cooling system is less noisy and has a smart thermostat you can control from your phone?
How'd you get so smart?
Must be from Mom.
When it comes to your home's most important decisions, make the smart choice and trust your local Cedar Rapids Pro partner. We're in your neighborhood, so call today.
Real quick, you both stop the real quick cut. Double check the steering wheel.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
All out there. Nice and smooth. Let's get it all done all day long. Got a good feeling about today, guys.
Donnie Kite's gonna get through it all and score his first career win in the Saturday Night Racing League Cup Series. What a finish!
It's too little, too late from behind, and Sebastian Marin, your first repeat top split winner of the qualifying series.
We knew it was just a matter of time when Hunter Sr. is victorious.
Josh Adams taking the win at Iowa.
GC Spider Motorsports takes home the 1-2-3 finish.
Told you this track was big enough. We just came down pit road. Half the field electing to stay out. Drivers that stretched the fuel run as far as they could. But here we are down pit road with Michael Call, your stage 1 winner. Welcome in, everybody. If you're just joining, I am solo in the booth here tonight. It might show a little bit. But having a fill, if we can do it at any time. And shout out to Morgan Cook. I know you have a chest cold here today. Morgan Cook, one of the producers here at Vspeed. Hope you feel better. And can confirm they are on 50% fuel. But with half the field coming down pit road, Rob Rader will relinquish the lead. I shouldn't say relinquished. He's been outside the top 5 to start this race. 23rd spot. He will take over the lead. Ben Laughter in the 64 brought it down pit road a lap after that. Trevor Keith looking to relinquish the top 3. So there, I can use the word properly. But everybody out there in chat, you seem like a lot of Burns fans here tonight. And if I get booted from this session, I apologize. My graphics card is working really hard here tonight to bring you flag-to-flag coverage. Everybody disappeared there for a second. So if we do have technical difficulties, just know this track was recently added to iRacing. When I said I wasn't familiar with it, That's because it was added less than a month ago. We're doing the best we can up here. Dougie Beard doesn't even have a camera pack for this track yet. And the guy works really hard to make sure we have everything we need here at Vspeed. But it looks like iRacing has other plans. We just saw the field disappear again, so we're not on good terms right now. I'm going to stop talking about it and maybe it'll go away. That's how we're going to handle it. Chat, just talk me through it here. Do what you can. Do what you can to keep it together. I feel like the more you talk, the better it goes. Pacing around this place could take an eternity, so we need to get to know each other. We're doing our best up here at Vspeed. If you are enjoying tonight's action and you haven't subscribed, what are you doing? We have flag-to-flag coverage all season long. In the Chapman Cup Series, we have other racing provided here on Vspeed. We turn in circles 7 days a week. This one, a little special. Take a look at the blimp camera and try to get a zoom out and look over this ginormous facility. Light should go out on the pace car this time by. So we're going to pull a driver up into the broadcast booth. And I'm looking for him now. Orange Speed driver and the number 64 going to restart here in the second spot. It's been lapped. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Ben, but man, these pace laps are brutal.
I've written 3 books.
Yeah, it's 5.5 minutes after pit stops. This is a unique racetrack, though. It takes a lot to get around it, and the only reason I pulled you in is because I know we have the next 4 minutes to talk about it. So what's your take? What's your take on this place?
It is unforgiving, if that's the right word. I mean, there's just no margin for lapses of attention, no margin for error. You've got to underdrive. I've blown turn 5 3 or 4 times this race and just sort of had to back out and survive it. So, you know, you're racing the track. You're not racing the guys.
Well, on top of that, it's a venue that not a lot of people are familiar with. So it kind of levels the playing field as far as driving goes. Did you put the time in, though, to get around this place?
I think so. I probably did about 50 total practice laps since the track was released, and I did an official fix, which is 16 laps. I finished top 5 in that. So I did. I mean, there's definitely a difference between the top 5 or 6 guys in this league running 8s and 9s versus me running 11s and 12s as my best laps. So, you know, I don't know how much of a threat I am here, but I think I can finish well.
Well, you've been running in the top 10. You started in 11th. Got those stage points. Getting set to go back green here in 4.5 years. What do you got to say, though? Anybody want to shout out?
I'll correct you there. I didn't get stage points. I actually flipped the stage, but it was so spread out.
Oh, that's right. You came down pit road.
That's right. I came in 9th. I came back out in 13th, and I think when everyone else went down just now, I was in 11th. So I didn't get the stage points. I did flip. That's why I'm sitting here in P2. But anyway, who do I want to shout out? These nerds around me, man. There's some solid race car drivers that I've got a lot to learn from. And what a cool venue. You know, I'm a veteran, and so anytime we can bake the military into stuff, it just tickles me. And so what a cool venue, what a cool story, and it's fun to be out here racing with these guys. They're good guys.
Doubled up in the most narrow part of the racetrack just now. That's got to feel a little bit weird, but
it's not so bad at these speeds. It was bad earlier on lap 1 when people were recovering here.
yeah, it is a very unique racetrack. I'll give you that for sure. Ben, good luck out there. Maybe we'll talk to you post-race, and I'm sure you have something in the back pocket for them.
Conservative lines is what I've got for them. So I'm just survive, guys.
And laughter in the 64. We'll put you back up there.
I'm back.
So Ben Laughter in the 64 getting ready to go back green. Pace car should pull out of the way, and you know, I gotta say, getting through this race right here for a unique racetrack, it's gonna be tough for the drivers. It's hard for me in the booth. I don't know, folks, if you're aware or not, but this has been a hard one for me. A new racetrack, 3.5 miles. We're only 14 laps in. Surprised I made it this far. So for these drivers, the surprise might be in this second stage. The iRacing pace car is going to get out of the way. Rob Rader will be your leader. You have Trevor Keith, who's worked his way back to the top 3. There's a lot that can be done here. And I would predict that Trevor Keith, if he can avoid the carnage, the 15 car, if he can avoid spinning the tires on this start, stage number 2 underway. Rob Rader on the loud pedal. Here we go. The Chapman Cup Series. I would predict that 15 car has the goods to get up here and take the lead away. How long he can hold it with Michael Call, Dakota Floyd, some of these drivers outside the top 10. It's going to be difficult to get back up here. I think the 15 can take this lead within the lap. Rob Rader holding the lead right now. On board with the 15 on this restart. Massive lead back here, Tyler Harrison in the 4th spot. Talking about 1.7 seconds, 1.8 already. Just to gap the 15. 2.8 seconds to the top spot. Gained 6 already for the 45. As company in the rearview mirror, though, the driver that led a lot of laps to start this race all over the back bumper. Whoa, sideways for the 45. Wheel spin for Tyler Harrison. Loses 2 spots. Bennett gets around in the 14. Boyd goes by Harrison as well. Trying to keep pace with the 14. "16 laps in. "16 laps. The 14 under fire. In the top 5 for Bennett. Looking to the right-hand side already. Boy, got a massive run out of that final corner. Who will cross and pass for 5th position. Problems for Kevin Orlando Jr. Decent impact there to the inside wall. Watch the oversteer here. Struggles continue for drivers outside the top 20. Side by side with Parker Johnson and Caleb Gilbert. Gilbert will go by. Able to overtake the 54. This is for the 16th position. We're going to look now on Turner in the 39. Look on board with that driver, trying to chase down Nick Alves. Afterglow from the 39 all over the back bumper. 14th right in front of him. Rob Rader's lead has expanded. The drivers that have taken fuel and tires are still 2.7 seconds back. 4.7 actually. I want to try to run away with this lead as far as you can. Trevor Keith trying to chase down the 53. This time by 0.06 of a second slower. Tight margin for 3.4 miles. Lap times around this place about 2 minutes 9 seconds in qualifying. Two minute 10, 7.95, the top position. Burns holding it down. Top 3 for the 9. Furthest ahead of the drivers that hit pit road before that stage break. Sights and sounds from San Diego. Coming by for lap 20. Why don't you say we find those hearing aids and max it out here on Vspeed. Well, mistake made here. We're going to cut this maxed out short. Rob Rader just made a mistake and handed over the lead to Trevor Keith. Here's a look at it. Locked up the brakes, front end. Back end goes around. It's 7.6 seconds. We've seen this before. We've all seen this episode before. And Trevor Keith's going to bring it down pit road. A little strategy. Got the lead. Going to bring it in.
Sounds like a good time for it.
Oh, Alex, I'm so glad you're here, buddy. This is a track I have no idea what I'm talking about. How was your broadcast?
Hello, everybody home. Broadcast went well. You know, Vspeed just opened up the big bags of money here to airlift me from Dover to San Diego for the back half of this one. And yeah, GLR over in Dover was, for lack of better intent, it was a mess. There was like 14 cautions in a 100 lap race, but got an entertaining end. So, you know, what are you gonna do?
What are we gonna do? We're gonna road course race. I am so happy you're here because we just saw the lead get handed over to Trevor Keith, and then he pitted. So you get the lead here at this racetrack, 3.4 miles, and immediately come down pit road. You're playing strategy right now. I watched the reaction from the 15. This could be it for him. He could win this race. That was a great call.
Yeah, I mean, this is, honestly, that's the best time to come down pit road when you have the track position. He didn't up until just a moment ago, and now that he does, I mean, TK's working from a really good spot here, and I would not be surprised to see that translate into good track position coming out of this pit cycle. Because, I mean, we know how good he is on road courses. He's been in the mix so far, from my understanding, trying to keep an eye on this as we are wrapping up the other show. And now with had the lead temporarily, but he's clearly got the track position to make it work.
Absolutely. I love how seamlessly you were able to transition into this, because if you're paying any attention at all at home, this race can get flipped on its head. Yeah, Rob Rader has the lead back. He got back around Jeremy Burns. You can kind of feel me coming to life right now. I don't know if anybody's been watching this. To be honest, I was asking for chat to keep me alive here. I think they've been around for it. Jeremy Burns now has the lead. 53 down pit road. A lot going on here.
It's about that time. So I'm also realizing in real time that I'm actively having to purchase the San Diego Naval Base to jump in and spectate. So
I got you.
Working on that at the moment, but there we go. Now we've got visual as we've now touched down at the Coronado Naval Base. Rob Rader leaving pit road, and I tell you what. We haven't always talked about Rob Rader as like a road course guy here in the Chapman Cup Series, but this season in particular, man, he's really upped his game on the lefts and rights.
He's done a lot of strategy as well in this race. Short pitted on the stage at lap 10. Got himself up front to restart in stage 2. Jeremy Burns, stage 1 winner. Actually, Michael Call. Jeremy Burns brought it down pit road. See, I'm all over the place without you. I can't do what I do. These buttons just, they can't press themselves. So
there are, as someone who was just being the button pusher, there is a lot of buttons to keep track of.
Yeah, there's so many. There's so many. You got a whole screen for it. And you know, when you're running triple or quad, I actually have 5 monitors. I have to admit that. I'm kind of a nerd. But when you have that many screens, it's easy to lose track. Michael Call won stage number 1. 10 laps in. We actually had drivers come down pit road around lap 7 and 8. And that's where we're seeing the strategy. We had questions in the chat if they could make it on fuel. We knew that they could make it on fuel in the end of the stage. What we questioned was those pace laps to make it back around the racetrack. That's a lot when you're talking about 3.5 miles.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about a car that at full speed gets about, 3 miles a gallon. So you need to have a full extra gallon in the tank just for the pace lap here. Which, easier said than done versus a place, say, like Martinsville, where that same tank of gas is going to carry you way further than here at Coronado. There's just so much land that you got to cover. As we're watching here, this Jeremy Burns out front. Raider and Keith have already come down pit road. And Mr. Bradley Cooper, what's the status here on the 9 of Jeremy Burns? Has he already made his stop, or is he still waiting to come down pit road here?
Well, as soon as the connection cooperates with me, he is still waiting. Now, he brought it down, one of the latest drivers in that first stage to bring it down pit road. But he's in a situation here. And this is looking like maybe a 2-stop race for some of these drivers that didn't undercut on that first stage. So I think that was the play. For anybody that came down in the first stage, they probably can make it a little further on fuel, but they might have to pit more than everybody else.
Especially at a track here, I mean, even just running an extra lap, you're gonna spend a good bit of time on pit road, adding that much more fuel to the car just with how long this track is. And I know that we've talked about that a good bit here, but I mean, it really cannot be overstated that, like, you got to be so mindful not only of your tires but also of your fuel situation at a place like this, because it is not an easy situation to rectify if you get your numbers wrong.
Just trying to figure out where that pit road entry would be.
It's coming up here just on the right out of this chicane. So this is that chicane. They'll be making a left-hander here, and that's where the pit road entrance is, right there.
Yeah, and
so
then
another
you got
lap
3.5
goes by.
miles. Yeah, it's 3.5 miles to get back to it. So if you think you should come down pit road, you absolutely should. You do not want to risk it here. It's a long way around. Been 11 laps on the stint. Dakota Floyd riding in second spot. Got a much longer look this week at the 57. Can't always confirm, though, Alex, if Trading Paints is loading the proper way, but I would assume everybody's in a military scheme here this week. Would make sense. We're at a naval base.
I'm definitely seeing a couple of them. It's very funny because I was just coming from the Goat Locker race as well, which obviously also has a lot of military schemes out there. So it feels like a very seamless transition. But that's a fresh look there for Dakota Floyd in that 57 machine.
Appreciate it. Painted that car. I got maybe 3 minutes of it on the track. Glad we get to look at it this week. And the 9 of Burns also in that. That is a Trevor Keith paint, so.
Let us know in the chat who's got the better look here, Dakota Floyd, Jeremy Burns, and it definitely will be a direct battle of designers here between you and TK. That'll be good.
We can't do that. We can't do that. Trevor Keith is always a good painter, and I still appreciate he's putting everybody's name on the side of his car. That is all of the the victims of the pit barrels this season on the side of that car.
And let me tell you, that list doubled last week.
Yeah.
That's why the entire side of that car is now names. There only used to be about 3 names on that car going into last week.
Trevor Keith running in 7th spot, back into the top 10. Would most likely relinquish the lead after these pit stops, but he still has Parker Johnson, Matt Robinson, Michael Call, Lenz, and Floyd. Burns, of course, the leader. I have 6 cars to decide. Caleb Gilbert riding back here. He is actually on that stint as well with your top 5. So I think right now Trevor Keith is going to have a lead of about 10 seconds. Rob Rader made a huge mistake, and I don't know if you got a glimpse of that or not.
Yeah, I was just starting to load in as that happened. That was like the first words I heard you say when you came back out of the maxed out.
All right. Well, I didn't mean to cut that maxed out short, but we'll go back and look at this. This is where Rob Raider had his mistake. He had the 15 of Keith on the back bumper. Watch going into this corner.
Oh yeah, really overcooked it hard into that tire barrier. I believe that's coming out of turn 4. And just, yeah, right side of that car, not going to be too happy, but he also lost so much time just trying to get that thing righted again. Some of the runoff areas here in San Diego are surprisingly wide for a street course. I mean, just getting back on track here takes another couple seconds.
When you go past that blue bar, you see that blue line all the way around here. But it's in really weird spots. It almost forces you. It's, you know, I've been playing Forza 6 a lot here recently. I don't know if you're aware of that. That's what it feels like. If you go outside the checkpoint, you're going to back yourself up.
Yeah. It's like, well, nope, got to reroute. Got to figure it out.
Yeah. You can't rewind here.
No. As tempting as it would be, I'm sure, especially if you were Rob Raider there a few laps ago going into that corner, because now he finds himself, to your point, about 10, 11 seconds adrift of Trevor Keith, who's continued to slowly work his way back up the running order, now scored in the 4th spot, with only Robinson, Linz, and Burns just up ahead of him. So 15 looking pretty good. Man, those brake rotors are getting bright red out there, especially that right front there for the 15 if we go see him once again here. I mean, that the brakes here are really getting tested. Yeah, there's a good look at it, just how bright that rotor's glowing.
Well, the best I can. Dougie Beard always doing a great job with the cameras. No cameras provided this week, unfortunately. I'm sure he would do it better than iRacing. He always does. But yeah, even glow through that portion of the racetrack. These brakes working overtime to get this 15 car around at San Diego up to the top spot.
Yeah, that puts the 9 and the 66 down pit road. And it looks like they cycle out here behind the 53 of Rob Raider. But not by much.
On board with Jeremy Burns, trying to get around the 54 of Gilbert.
Well, thought about getting to the inside there. Now he's going to. He's going to be stuck on the outside, though, momentarily before this right-hander coming up.
We've seen this episode before, Alex.
Boy, have we.
We never thought Jeremy Burns could come back. This is a track that resembles it.
It really does. This is a race that really falls into this wheelhouse of, like, how much can you go out there and execute, especially with how big this track is. There is so much time to be gained or lost here at Coronado, just for the fact there are so many different corners that if you hit it really well, you can chop off a ton of time. But right now, kind of stuck in the tire tracks right now of the 53. Been behind him here for a couple of corners. Might get a run here going out of this section, going into this left-hander. Not quite. Oh, looking to the inside there. 53 got a little loose coming out of that. And Burns going to just kind of shove his way in there, and he'll take the 2nd spot.
It's 12.7 seconds to catch up to Trevor Keith. Keith is having a moment right now. That's an eternity around this place. But you have to be perfect. Now, 6 laps on the stint. Looking at the lap counter. Just over 10 to go. Trevor Keith is going to have to come back into the pits.
The good news for him is that he has such a buffer that he'll still be in relative striking distance whenever he does have to come down pit road. The bad news is he still has to come down pit road.
Yeah.
And I do not know if we have to say the same for the 9. I'm thinking perhaps
he's
not.
Good. he's 1 lap on the stint here, so he's stretched this run out.
Yeah, he did what he needed to do then. If he ran about 16 laps or so, being able to run that again should be able to take him to the end of this thing.
And that was part of the reason I think some of these drivers came down in stage 1.
Matt Robinson just handed over a couple of spots there to Bennett and Harrison coming out of one of these corners. Nearly lost the back end. Could have been way worse for the 11, but certainly had a moment that cost him some time. See, he's trying to battle here with Bennett, and he's got Pamatak not too far behind him, and I believe it's going through this left-hander down here where he loses the back end of the car momentarily. Kept it off the wall, but Pamatak does slide on by. And now he's going back over, is that Bennett? So it looks like the 14 may have had some issues as Robinson now goes on by. Oh yeah, that car, he's lucky that kept it off the wall there. That thing did not rotate. Gives up 2 spots.
I talked to Ben Lafter there at one point in this race, and he said that the key to get around this track is to underdrive it. Everything you think you should do, dial it back 10%. It's a handful out here, and it's a new venue. That's the level playing field that we're dealing with right now. Trevor Keith has the lead. Jeremy Burns, road course ringer. Rob Rader, Dakota Floyd. Some of these guys that we're familiar with. The top 5 is filled with them.
That is true. And then, you know, I tell you what, you're just talking about Ben Lafter a second ago. This has been a fantastic run so far for the 64. Currently sitting in that 6th spot. Ahead of guys like Call, Harrison, Robinson, and Bennett. Started 11th and has just been picking them off one by one here as this race has progressed. And I think he's doing a really good job of abiding by his own motto of don't overdrive it, because that car looks relatively clean as well.
It's surprisingly clean for most of this field. We have 2 cars off the racetrack. Justice Murphy, Jacob Sirkovich. Early exit. Nick Alves, 2 laps down. Still struggling a little bit. There's a car that does have some damage. The KLD number 24. Ryan Munoz, who started deep in this field, raced his way up to close to the top 10. Now back in 23rd, 1 lap down. Trevor Earhart gonna go by the 48. There's damage on both these cars.
Yeah, there certainly is, but they're continuing to muscle this thing around, and yeah, Earhart's machine looks like it's been through a bit of a war, but chugging along here in the 12th spot. Not a bad day overall for the 41. Could be way worse. Still running in the top half of the field despite that damage.
So I'm really glad you're here because my frame drops are getting the best of me. Car down pit road here that looks like Parker Johnson in the 48. Now I'm curious. 15 comes down pit road with 10 to go. Does Jeremy Burns have enough fuel to make it to the end?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to certainly be a lot tighter. The thing that I think works out for Burns here, though, is that there's not going to be anyone directly behind him to apply any pressure. So he can really try to clutch it around here, really roll these corners super easy. And I do not think he's going to have too much concern trying to save fuel. The question is, how much is he going to be able to save? As the 15 is now down in the way, and looks like he'll cycle back out in the 6th spot.
Tyler Harrison, Michael Call down pit road, the 5, the 45. This is in your top 10. Very questionable here if the 9 can make it on fuel.
Yeah, and I think we'll be asking that as this continues to wind down. I mean, under 10 laps to go, but I mean, that's still over 30 miles. At a place like Bristol, we're talking 60 laps, so still a long way to go for Jeremy Burns to make it to the end here. With a 7-second gap to Rob Rader, I got to imagine he's feeling fairly comfortable with how things sit right now, as Keith will cycle up to 5th with Laughter coming down pit road. And I think you can see just how comfortable Jeremy Burns is feeling right now with that 7-second advantage. He looks pretty darn relaxed back there behind the wheel.
Doesn't he always?
Yeah, that he does. I feel like especially right now, though, like, it doesn't even feel like he's like too far up in his seat. It looks like he's really just kind of sitting there and just rolling right now, which is exactly what he needs to do as he's working his way through the chicane, coming back toward that start-finish line to start lap number 30. And no, Burns is going to duck down pit road. So I don't think he was confident he was going to be able to make it either. Well, I tell you what, color me surprised. I thought he was going to run at least a couple more laps, but I guess he realized pretty quickly that he was going to be short. And he'll make his stop. Looks like that might be Rader back there as well, who just ducked in.
This
so here
could
comes
give
Trevor
it
Keith.
back. Yeah, this could give it back to the 15. If he can make it to the end of this race, it's going to be close.
So he's going to open up a bit of an advantage here on the 9. Burns back on the racetrack, deficit about 6 or 7 seconds here. So it's now Rader, Linz, Keith, and Burns. And Bradley, you've been keeping a closer eye on the fuel situation because I kind of jumped in the middle of this. How long has the 53 been out on this current stint?
8 laps now for the 53.
I'd be surprised. I mean, he was on a similar call then as the 9. The 9 didn't feel confident that he was going to make it. I wonder if the 53 feels differently.
I think the 53's got to come down pit road. That's too far. It's about 13 laps, I would say. I would stretch 13 to the max.
Yeah, I mean, that would be far too much then.
Yeah.
So he's working his way through the back half of the race course right now, going through 12 and 12B. So he'll be coming toward that start-finish line here pretty soon. I wonder now, knowing if he's got the race lead, if he decides to duck down pit road this time, similar to what Trevor Keith tried a few laps ago when he got the lead over the 53. So through 14 and 15 goes Rader, pushing it all the way out toward the wall into the chicane.
Well, it doesn't bode well that he's one of the lowest numbers in that top 10 for pit lap.
Yeah, certainly does not, but going to stay out another lap here. So he'll continue the forge on. And actually, I believe that was Alex Forget I just saw a second ago. In an attempt, I think, to not be in the way, and Trevor Keith just went directly through the middle of the chicane. Looking at the recent lap times there. Right now, Jeremy Burns, fastest car on track with a 2:08. Keith and Rader at a 2:09. Everyone else just about running 2:10 plus.
And it's mysterious to me how you do the math, where I need to pit, how to put this car up front. Trevor Keith has worked that to a T. But again, we've seen this before. Massive lead, and the closing 10 or so laps. I don't think we're going to see that this time, but it's 6 seconds back. It's still doable.
It's definitely doable. I mean, that gap is shrinking a little bit because he was about a second faster that last lap. However, he's going to need to maintain that each and every lap here the rest of the way to reel in that distance. We don't believe Raider or Linz. Linz is a different question, I guess. You said his last lap was, or last pit was lap 25. 13 laps, hypothetically, would put you to 38. However, I do not know if that falls on the good or bad side of 38. Whether that puts you to, say turn 2, or all the way around back to the start-finish line.
There's a lot of miles to find out, Alex. And
it is a lot of miles.
If you might be good by a tenth or two, go ahead and push this car and find out. That's where you burn it up. As soon as you get comfortable and confident that you're going to make it, you could throw it all away. 8.4 seconds, roughly, for Carter Lenz behind the leader. Rob Raider going to stay out another lap.
Yeah, here comes Raider diving into turn 2. And, you know, we saw the 9 was on the same strategy as the 53. The 9 decided to bail early, cut that 16 laps in half to go 8 and 8. Looks like Raider going to stretch this thing as long as it's going to go, presumably, or to see if he can stretch it the whole distance. Which, I mean, does feel like a tall order, but you never know. Because last time I counted out Rob Raider on fuel strategy, he won the whole darn thing.
5-time champion here in Racing Revolution. Chapman Cup Series still on the top spot. Sponsoring the league, sponsoring this car. Not sure what's going on with the frame drop here tonight, so I apologize for that. We're doing our best here tonight. I think it might have something to do with this track being brand new.
Yeah, that probably doesn't help. It also probably doesn't help of the scale of the track. I mean, like, your system's probably trying to keep track of a whole 20-odd some. Yeah, you know, we're really close to the action up from, you know, outer space.
I don't know what you mean, Alex. This is pretty small.
Yeah, from this distance it might be.
Yeah.
We're still watching here. This is Rob Raider going down 13, 14, 50. A little left, right, left situation. And gets through that relatively cleanly. He's been able to keep that gap back to Carter Lenz about 8 seconds. The gap, though, to Trevor Keith and Jeremy Burns continues to shrink. Keith has gained about 3 seconds on him. Burns about 5. And Rob Raider ducking down pit road. He's not going to be able to make it on fuel. And, oh, big slide from one of the cars in front of Jeremy Burns here. That's Kevin Orlando, who nearly lost it going into the chicane. Looks like Lenz has stayed out another lap. He's going to continue to try to stretch this. Trevor Keith 5 seconds back of Lenz. Burns about 5 seconds back of Keith.
That's
Burns continues to chop off about a second a lap, maybe a little bit more, and that would be just enough to get there and challenge on that last lap here against the 15. But also the question I wonder is the 15 trying to keep it easy on these tires so there's something to work with in these last couple laps when the 9 starts to close in?
Did he learn anything from earlier this year?
You know, I'm not going to say anything yet, but I'm starting to get shades of Chicago out here in San Diego
last season.
today.
Yeah,
Yeah.
last season. But earlier this year, he had situations where he was ahead of Burns. So many times. And we've talked about it with many drivers. When you come to a road course, you know the 9's going to be fast. Everybody's prepping. Everybody's racing to figure out a way around him. Carter Lenz has figured it out.
Same with Kyle Diaz back last year at Watkins Glen, falling on the right side of that strategy.
Well, I want to say that Watkins Glen wasn't a good race for Burns either this year.
No, I mean, yeah, this year especially. Yeah, it's that the one road course in recent seasons that he has not found that level of dominance. Last year on the strategy, this year on just getting caught up in that massive incident in turn 1 and up the S's coming out of the stage break. But he continues to chop away here at the deficit. Another half second gone to Keith. But I find it fascinating that Burns is closing in on Keith as fast as Keith is closing in on Linz. And if that rate keeps up and Linz had the fuel to go the whole way, they're all basically going to be on top of each other with about half a lap to go.
This time by, Keith ran 2 seconds roughly faster. It was only about 5/10 for Burns.
Yeah, he's going to need to find a little bit more speed a lap here if he's going to get up to the 15. I wonder if Keith saw the opportunity here to pounce and is starting to try to force the issue a little bit. As the 66, I think, is in extreme save mode here, just trying to roll this thing to the end. Oh yeah, he was off the throttle very early going through this corner. Early shifting as well, partially to mitigate the bumps, I believe, but also partially to save fuel.
That's an art in itself, Alex, being able to save fuel on these corners. The short shifting, a lot going on. You got to do all these calculations in real time.
Yeah, and I think if you're Carter Linz, I think you know at this point that the jig is up for the win. However, if you can make it on fuel under any circumstance, a podium is very much within your grasp here. It's 20 seconds back the Raider. So if you're just able to stay on the racetrack and physically make it to the finish here, most likely you'll be able to at least net a top 3, which would be a great points day for the 66. Is now Trevor Keith looming in the mirror. He's got visual contact now to the race leader. And just behind him down that straightaway, Jeremy Burns continues to chop into that deficit a bit. About 3.5 seconds now from the 9 to the 15. And only 1.5 seconds from the 15 to the 66.
And if I'm Trevor Keith right now, I'm communicating with the 66 as much as I can. When I get there, because I've caught you from over 10 seconds back, I need you to get out of the way. I do not want to lose ground in the 6 or the 9.
Yeah, especially knowing if the 66 is on save mode, it's not even in Linz's best interest, really, to try to hold up the 15 too much. Because if he burns up too much fuel trying to hold on to the top spot, he might not be able to finish. And instead of a second or third place finish, he could end up well outside the top 10 if he's not able to make this thing on fuel. So very curious to see how they'll handle this. 1.1 now the gap. Burns about 5 seconds back of the lead, about 4 seconds back of Trevor Keith. It's all starting to converge together here. Rob Rader with that late pit in 4th, but I mean, he's like almost 20 seconds back of the race lead here. It's been a great run for the 53, but that issue earlier on is going to cost him a shot at the podium potentially.
Again, if you're Keith, you want to get around the 66 as fast as possible. The deficit is not shrinking as fast as it was earlier. We're within hundredths of a second last time by. Look at these lap times on the left-hand side of your screen.
Yeah,
that's
almost
really
dead even that last time.
Yeah.
Now, the question is, where does Keith go to make the move? Could be here, trying to go into 12 and 12B. This little quick back fourth. Not close enough to make the dive, though. Linz doing a little bit of defense here, trying to hold on to that spot, and now looks like the 15 going to go around as they make their way into 13. So new leader, Trevor Keith. Jeremy Burns about 3.5 seconds back. He got that close and then stalled out a little bit for about a lap. We'll see if there's any way he can make up that deficit. It's now down to 3.2. He's starting to open up the afterburners a little bit.
Burns still has to get around Linz, though. It's about 2.5 seconds to him. Michael Call, Michael Bennett back and forth for the top 10. Bennett just got by the 5 for the 9th position.
Sneaky good day so far, I think, for the 14 of Bennett. Every time we've checked in on him, at least since I've joined, he's been running in the top 10. Been a tidy piece of work so far from the 14. As we take a look here, there is Carter Linz, now a 2.5 seconds back of Keith. Jeremy Burns, though, has that deficit down. Oh, someone is going really slow. That was Jeremiah Nelson, who I think is either out of gas or was trying to stay out of the way. Well, he's got some gas in there still, but I think he was trying to let the leaders by. And that was a bit of a blind corner there for where Burns caught up to him. Oh, into the wall goes Nelson. He is just trying to limp this thing back to the finish line.
He might have made a mistake prior to this. Well, back this. Yeah, there it is. So, back it up a little bit more, you'll see why this car was slow, and then the leaders caught him.
Yeah, this is going. That was turn 2. This is him working his way down to 3. And yeah, just car could not rotate at that speed. Hard hit into the wall and then stops to let the leaders by. Nearly lost it trying to get back up to some speed here as Burns goes on by. And then also will hit the wall here into this left-hander. I believe that's turn 7.
Yeah, this is right after it, and the damage, his car's not steering. He's putting all the wheel he can into it, and it's not turning.
No, it's just, I mean, he's just limping that thing around at this point, but we are coming down the crunch time. There'll be 2 laps to go here in just a moment through the chicane.
Oh, my goodness.
We're looking at this gap. Yeah, frame rate ain't great. That gap is not great either. If you're Trevor Keith, 2 laps to go, 2 seconds the deficit between Keith and Burns. The 9 has found something again and is making tracks, trying to reel in the 15.
Well, bear with us here on Vspeed. I'm going to just throw it out there. It's not my fault. It's the best I can do.
Yeah, no, this is, I suspect this may be an iRacing thing. I mean, this is a massive track, and cars are all over the place right now. I mean, end to end. I mean, we've got cars in turn 5 and in 13. This is just, there's a lot to keep track of right now for the simulation. So Keith working his way. This is turn 5. This is where Nelson hit just a moment ago. Gets through it cleanly down into the straightaway leading into 6. 1.7 now the deficit. Burns continues to inch and claw his way closer.
Wow. This is new for me. This one is definitely new.
Here comes Burns through 12 and 12B. The gap is now down to under a second. We've got ourselves a proper battle here for the race win in San Diego. 1 second the deficit. Trevor Keith with the lead. Jeremy Burns trying to take it away. They'll be coming down to the chicane and 16 for the final or second to last time here today. Oh boy, here we go. Working through a cloud of smoke. There was no cars there, but not entirely sure what happened. But here we go. White flag is in the air at the Qualcomm circuit. White flag presented by Earhart Homes. Love where you live. And this is going to be a very long final lap for Trevor Keith to try to hold off Jeremy Burns.
I've seen it before. This is a rerun. I'm telling you.
It's a rerun, but it's also got a completely different flavor. New track and very new situations they find themselves in. Here they go down the run. This is going down to turn 5, one of the heavier braking zones. We've seen cars have issues with it. Looks like 15 and the 9 going to navigate it cleanly.
Trevor Keith still thinks about that moment at Chicagoland Speedway. He's got a car sideways with wheel smoke here. He's sideways as well. He's going to lose it.
Oh, no. The 15 loops it going into 7. He's going to get the ship righted. But that is all but going to cost him the win. And you can see the frustration. Is Jeremy Burns now going to set sail with only half a lap to go through turn 9 into 10. And that Blue Angels number 9's got nothing but clean track in front of him now.
And there was wheel smoke on the racetrack ahead of him. I'm not sure if that was a problem that maybe caused the 15 to check up. But Jeremy Burns, in a race that, in my opinion, he should have lost it. I think the 15 did the perfect strategy. But he finds a way yet again.
And I tell you what, if that is not that number 9 team on a road course, I don't know what is. Finding a way. He does it every single time. And here he goes coming through turn 16. Jeremy Burns going to be the inaugural Chapman Cup winner here at the San Diego Coronado Base race. And I tell you what, man, he put himself in position. It's one of those situations of sometimes you just need to do what you need to do to get lucky. And not to say that was the case, but you'd rather put yourself in a position to have that happen, and that's exactly what he did.
Trevor Keith is going to come home in second spot. A much better finish than what he got at Chicagoland. I don't even think we got the post-race interview, the 15, the last time that he was in a situation to win. But, man, I don't know if you want that post-race interview.
I mean, I suppose he did finish runner-up, which would make him my interview. I'm happy to talk to him. I don't know how happy he'll be to talk to me. But, so, little congratulatory tap there from the 15. And it's got to be, I can't imagine the emotions going through the mind of Trevor Keith right now. I mean, he really did run the perfect race up until turn 6 and 7 on the final lap. We'll take one more look at it here. This was the deciding moment. As Carter Lentz is actually getting pushed, this is a live shot. Carter Lentz is getting pushed around this racetrack right now by Rob Rader.
And Dakota Floyd.
66 indeed was able to make it. Gave up ultimately 23 seconds to the race lead by the end of it, but did cross the finish line in 3rd place.
We're going to have to go back a little bit further. Let's see if I can dial it in here.
Yeah, it'll be going into the turn 6 and 7 about halfway through the last lap. So yeah, here they go. I believe this is the run down to turn 5. So yeah, it's coming up here, this next set of corners.
I mean, the lead's not tremendous, but it is around half a second. He has room. There's the smoke that I was talking about. And then right
that
here.
was a lockup from Pamitat up ahead, and just back end steps out on him. Think it was just a situation of the car wasn't fully settled down yet when he went to go turn in the 6 and lost the tail of the race car there. And you could see he was fighting it, trying to hold on to it, and just looped it enough where he had to spin it all the way back around. Because if he was able to keep it at least halfway pointed the correct direction, I think he could have rallied a bit of a late charge there to at least put a little bit of pressure on Burns going into that last chicane. But ultimately with that loop, lost several seconds, and then from that point, I mean, the hard work was done for Burns. He just had to hit his marks cleanly, which he did to round that one out. I mean, what can you say about Jeremy Burns in these road courses other than he continues to find ways to win races that we fully don't expect him to at this point? Like, he can be down and out, and somehow he still finds his way to victory lane. It's really impressive.
Rob Rader and Dakota Floyd are still working hard to get Carter Lentz up here. There he is.
And Jeremy Burns in this rather narrow front straightaway, gonna burn it down here for the virtual fans at the Coronado Naval Base.
Another fantastic showing for Jeremy Burns, the road course ringer. Puts him at 80% of the road courses that we've been to into victory lane. Very, very talented driver. But you gotta feel bad just a little bit yet again for the 15 of Trevor Keith. Even if you are a Jeremy Burns fan, I think if you're Trevor Keith right now, you just you gotta go let this one out of your mind. This one cannot stick with you. We're gonna pull Jeremy Burns out of the Rolling Thunder Racing room.
I just moved to the waiting room.
There we go. Race winner Jeremy Burns in the number 9. I gotta say, this was a rerun. I've seen this episode before, and we thought, well, maybe this is the one. Maybe this is the one where Trevor Keith gets the best of you. A racetrack that's very similar to Chicago street course, and then somehow there, I don't know if you dumped oil on the racetrack there into 13, but just locked up. He goes sideways, you pass him and set sail. I thought maybe the strategy it didn't work out, but you had caught him and chased him down and put the pressure on.
I mean, honestly, I was saving there a lot in the middle of the race, which I probably shouldn't have. I thought I was going to be able to save enough to go one stop, just didn't end up being that way. It's an absolute heartbreaker there for TK. And I mean, we were in the same chat tonight, and you know, we were saying the same thing. He said, "Do you feel deja vu?" It started singing that little song, and it was so. I just have so much respect for him, and so much respect for him, Carter, Rob being up there and competing with us, Dakota Floyd. Absolute heartbreaker. I felt like I put myself in that situation with my strategy, and I was ready there to finish second. I was going to give it my all, though. I was pushing as hard as I could, but yeah, you know, you take a win anytime that you can get it. Definitely felt like we had on pace. I was really monitoring my pace there in the middle of the race, trying to save, but it ended up almost costing me. So definitely learning from that, and just really glad to get with the victory this week.
Well, do you have to learn it? Because I feel like this is one of those racetracks like Chicago street course. You learn it, you get good at it, and then they change it.
I mean, yeah. I didn't even have like the full on like graphics up, so I didn't even get to see the ship in the background.
Neither did we, Jeremy. We barely got through this thing. It frame dropped so bad, it was horrible.
Yeah, I mean, people have been experiencing that, and you know, I watched the Coke Series race there, and it was just an absolute bloodbath. And yeah, I mean, what a race, right? There were so many different strategies, people pitting at different times. There was a point at like lap 27, 28. I was like, I don't know where this is going to end up. I may not have to pit. I may have to pit. If I don't have to pit, then I'm looking great, right? Because I flipped the stage, but then I also came back down and topped off to be the first on that strategy. But it was just such a weird race. It ended up going in our way, and yeah, just crazy in general.
Fantastic to watch. Our first experience here on Vspeed. Road course racing has not been disappointing, especially these past 2 seasons here in Racing Revolution. New names. I know that you're starting to come back to that dominant phase that you had there in season 3 and then beginning of season 4. Season 5, a little questionable, I will say. But this one, I mean, these guys are competitive.
Yeah, I mean, and huge shout out to the league. When you talk about going into an official session, you know, you had guys pretty strung out when they ran at this racetrack this week. But when we got in here tonight, people were within 3 seconds. I think it was up to 17th was within 3 seconds. And for a circuit that big and that technical, that shows how far this league has come as a whole. And to come away with an Alliance podium there with TK and Carter, just cannot give them enough shout outs. I know that we've worked endlessly on this track, and we're going to turn around and work again to go to Sonoma next week.
Well, before we get to California and, well, I guess a little bit further north in California, is there anybody you have to shout out?
Just huge shout out my mom and dad, Josie, Coach P, Sonny, and my grandma, Julie, Derek, Caroline, Shannon, Belinda, Dana, and Dylan. Everybody out there, hopefully that was entertaining for y'all. Rolling Thunder and Lightning Fast. Everybody that put together the effort. I mean, Maddie was looking good. Tyler was up there. Justice, unfortunately, had some mishaps. But, I mean, everybody has improved so much. Even Trevor, who had so many issues tonight, got a top 15. So just huge shout out to all of them. Michael Call, again, finished amazing as well. Huge shout out Metroplex. Really amazing scheme. The Blue Angel scheme. Shout out KSX Graphics for putting that on there. Chapman Environmental, Coastal Financial, Ultimate Exterior Light, and Arrowhead Homes. All about bugs. You all up here at Vspeed cannot wait to go back and watch this one back because I'm sure it was very entertaining. Shout out the admin and the drivers once again. And yeah, I think that's it.
Well, if you can watch it, those last 5 laps or so, the PC was sweating. So I just want you to know, when we turn the graphics all the way up and we have all those jet planes, I'm playing Microsoft Flight Sim at this point, trying to keep up with you guys. But we appreciate you coming up here and talking to us, Jeremy. And we'll see you next week at Snowbird Raceway.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
There you have it, race winner Jeremy Burns. We have a lot more to talk about and a lot more people to talk to. Those final race results, a little race recap. Alex Gagnon joining me about halfway through this race. Glad you were able to make it in here from GLR. We will continue post-race coverage here in San Diego. You're on Vspeed right after this.
JS Racing. We're in the game.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
Hey Dad, did you know that replacing your cooling system reduces repair costs and improves energy efficiency? Plus it operates more efficiently, which means more money in my pocket. I mean, your pocket.
Hey Dad, did you know that a new cooling system is less noisy and has a smart thermostat you can control from your phone?
How'd you get so smart?
Must be from Mom.
When it comes to your home's most important decisions, make the smart choice and trust your local Cedar Rapids Pro partner. We're in your neighborhood, so call today.
Kite's gonna get through it all and score his first career win in the Saturday Night Racing League Cup Series. What a finish!
It's too little, too late from behind, and Sebastian Marin, your first repeat top split winner of the qualifying series.
We knew it was just a matter of time. Hunter Sr. is victorious.
Josh Adams taking the win at Iowa. Juicy Spider Motorsports takes home the 1-2-3 finish.
The aircraft carrier is a little disappointed. It's staying afloat, and so is this season. But for some of these guys, it's getting down to crunch time. We only have so much left before we get to Daytona, and a lot of it here has been road racing for this week and next week. If you are Jeremy Burns and you're a fan of Jeremy Burns, you enjoyed tonight very much. Well, we saw a rerun here tonight from the Chicago Street Course in Season 5. Final results up on your screen. Race recap. Michael Call got Stage 1 victory. It was an undercut for Jeremy Burns. Trevor Keith as well. A lot of these drivers that finished up here very much played strategy in this 3.5-mile road course. But I gotta say, from the beginning of the race to the end of the race, Trevor Keith did everything perfect in between to get where he needed to be. He's going to end up finishing second. It was Carter Lentz for the top three. We'll get a word with those drivers in just a moment. You have Rob Rader with a solid day, 23rd to start this race, gained 19 positions to finish up here in the top 5. Dakota Floyd, quiet night, gains 2 spots, going to end up in the top 5. Caleb Gilbert finishing in 6th. Then you have Matt Robinson, 7th spot. Tyler Harrison in 8th. Michael Bennett and Michael Call for the top 10.
Yeah, looking back to 11th here, Trevor Earhart will bring that battered number 41 machine home just outside the top 10. Grant Turner, 12th, just ahead of Ben Laughter in 13th. Grant Thorpe finishing 14th. Brandon Pamitat, last car on the lead lap in the 15th position. Behind them, it'll be Alex Forget and Kevin Orlando Jr., who were literally a photo finish at the line for 16th. They'll be 16th and 17th respectively. Nick Alves finishes 18th. Jeremiah Nelson 19th. Parker Johnson rounding out the top 20.
6 1,000ths of a second. I'll have to go back and dial that in there. But for 21st spot, it's going to be Ryan Munoz a lap down. You have Jeremiah Nelson, actually 4 laps down. I apologize for that. And there's Justin Ritchie, who had a lot of promise starting this race. Ran up front in the top 5. Mistakes there for the 55. Then you have Al Likens in 23rd. Dylan Picklesheimer 10 laps down in 24th. Fred Pennington. And then these drivers really didn't start the race today, if you're going to be honest. You have Jacob Sirkovich and Justice Murphy did run a lot of laps. Sirkovich had problems very early, so did Murphy. And that will round out your 27-car field. But with those 1 caution, 9 lead changes, that stage caution, resetting the field, putting everybody on a mixed strategy, Michael Call getting that stage win. There's a driver that we're about to talk to. And I'm just gonna...
Before we pull him up, are we in the right spot? I've been seeing just B-roll.
Oh yeah, we're absolutely in the right spot. We're in the right place. I gotta find the 15, but we're okay. In a great place right now.
Okay.
It's just it was so frame choppy that I think that we should show. Yeah, that
I
was
see.
The moment.
You know what?
Yeah.
Ignore me then. Let's just.
Yeah, we're just gonna go back to the scenic camera. It's a lot nicer. Okay.
All right, I'll pull in the 15 here. Hey there, Trevor Keith. This is Alex Bradley up in the Vspeed booth. You got a copy?
I do.
Well, I had the privilege of joining this race in the middle of the race. I was producing a show earlier tonight and was able to join a bit late. So I got to see you take the lead off of Rob Rader, and it seemed like things were falling the right way for you. without trying to twist the knife at all, talk to us a little bit about that last lap.
Man, I don't know how to finish these things, I guess. I I knew the rears were gone. Burns had better tires. He had like a couple lap fresher tires, and he was a little better saving the rears than me. And I knew that going into this race. And I knew I just had to keep push it and push it and push it, and just pushed a little too hard right there at the end, and couldn't get it done. As soon as it started locking up, and I went, oh no, and I just PTSD Chicago Street. I even told Burns the team chat. I was like, do you get deja vu, Burns, when he was chasing me down? Then I go off and do that. It's unreal, really. I mean, honestly though, when you go to the back, lap 0, what fun is it to win the race? No, I'm just kidding. Plenty of mistakes there, and man, I just gotta stop making stupid mistakes, man.
So that was admittedly going to be my next question, was because we also drawed some parallels to last year's Chicago Street Course race up here in the booth. But talk to us a little bit. I mean, you drove through the entire field quite literally tonight, going last to first over the course of the race there. What was it like trying to pick off cars in traffic here at a place that in some areas actually seems like you can set up some passes pretty well, but then in other areas it's like walking a tightrope?
There's really nice passing zones here. I really love this track. I'm not gonna lie to you. Maybe not so much anymore, but but no, there's some good passing zones. It's just setting them up in the correct way to where you're not putting someone in a bad position, because when you go back there, they're like, no offense to anybody, but they're back there for a reason. You don't want to put them in a bad position where they have to do something they're not comfortable with, and then you end up in the wall with them or something like that. So it's tricky, and there was a lot of times where I gave up a lot of speed to just pick my spots and pick the right spots. And even when I was in the lead, I dealt with a ton of lap traffic. I felt like my spotter was always like, "There's a slow car up ahead. There's a slow car up ahead." I was like, "Can we stop saying that?" It's tricky track, and I mean, I feel like everybody made a mistake but the 9. So, and that's what it takes to beat them, is not make any mistakes. So,
well, ultimately, I mean, I know these words are probably going to ring a little bit hollow, at least for tonight, but a great points day for you. Trevor, anyone you'd like to shout out on the run through the field here tonight?
Yeah. First thing I'm going to say is, Mama Burns, I need some Oreo balls for that one, please. No. It was shout out Burns. I mean, he drove me clean. I wrecked myself again, and this time I couldn't even try to blame it on him. Unfortunate. And shout out the team and trying to keep my head in it. Even Burns was like, "All right, TK." We'll shout out KSX Racing Graphics. I mean, that was your top 3. Was all KSX Racing Graphics cars, so that's pretty cool to see. Shout out you guys. I can't wait to go back and watch this. Maybe skip the last lap. Pretend I won. And just, I mean, yeah, just, I'm here to entertain, and that's what I do. Last to first, finish second.
I tell you what, you were the show tonight, if nothing else, man. We were keeping track of you a good bit of tonight's race. It was a ton of fun watching. Ultimately, I know not the result you were looking for, but super exciting to watch nonetheless. And, you can walk out of here knowing that you did, at least at one point in time, pass every single car in the field at least once tonight.
I don't know if I could have. Rob was super quick too. If he wouldn't have made that mistake there too, he might have ran away with it too. Just all it takes is one mistake, and the 9's in victory lane again. So we got to dial in though, because we get to do it again next week on a real road course. So
that we do. Well, we will catch you there, Trevor. Best of luck there next week at Sonoma. I know that's a track that you also do fairly well at. So excited to see what you bring to the table.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.
Second place finisher Trevor Keith. And we move down the rest of your top 3. Last driver we're going to talk to is Carter Lenz, who's pretty quiet here today, if we're being honest. The 66 looked like, well, it was going to be one of those, we're going to have our typical top 5 drivers at a road course. Looking really good there in the first stage. And the strategy came to play. there were some cars that got in the way. There were some things that happened. And Carter, I don't know what your take is on this race, but it looked like not a lot of people did the prep they needed to do to be here tonight.
Yeah, there was a lot of talks in the league all ever since this track got released. Some people instantly jumped on it. I know me, Jeremy, TK, a lot of our team really jumped on getting laps in. Some people were like, I'll get to it when I get to it, and kind of forgot about it. And yeah, the field really got spread out pretty thin pretty quick, but I think we were kind of all expecting that. Obviously, talking with Jeremy, I missed out on the first year of when Chicago Street Course came into place. So I got to be on the second round of that, but he's like, it was him and Rob, he said, I believe it was, where it was just those two were gone into oblivion and everyone else was just trying to survive to the end. So it's kind of fun getting to be a part of a first time in the league at a brand new track. But no, field was very spread thin. Got a little bit of damage and kind of just held on to third place or wherever I could finish, really.
Well, I can tell you confidently that you finished in third here tonight, but we go to another road course here very soon. And in that week's time, you've had your prep, you've done something new on a level playing field. How's the contrast from a track that you had to learn, you confidently finish in third spot, carry over to a place that you're familiar with?
Oh, it's gonna keep the focus up high for next week. I believe I finished second last year, right off Jeremy's bumper, so I know I have what it takes to win there. But no, it's just gonna kind of just be putting in laps, keeping the repetition going of keeping memory of turning right and left and braking points and all of that and whatever, just to get another good finish next week. So going to be putting in laps hopefully this weekend if time will allow. But no, looking forward to next week. Hopefully we can put on another good show and maybe take the crown back from Jeremy.
One final question for you here, Carter. You're putting your car out there every week. You're probably having, in my opinion, the best season that you've had since you've been here. What's your confidence like going in to that chase format with the points changing and everybody, it's not a win and you're in? This is really going to come down to what we're used to seeing in a chase format.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited for this year. Yeah, I'll agree with you on that. This is the best season I've had. I know my first two seasons here, I think it's been the first 8 weeks in a row is just being wrecked out. And then that 8th week came around and that's where I got my first win of each season. So, and it happened again this year. So I don't know if week 8 is my week to win, but no, the change of the points this season, I think, is going to really show who's going to be the best out on top. Because obviously, the elimination, you win, you're in. You win a race in a round, you advance to the next, so on and so forth. I think really it's going to come down to who can have the least amount of mistakes to that final race of the season. And, whoever has the cleanest races, doesn't get involved in anything, they're going to be the one to take it. And I know they talk about it all the time and on Sundays where it's, usually the top 3 or 4 cars and points going into the chase are really only people that have it, the shot to really win it. But really it's going to be consistency is what's going to take it all the way to the end.
Well, Carter, we appreciate you coming up here and talking to us. We have a lot of racing left to be done. Before we get to that point, is there anybody you have in mind to shout out?
First and foremost, I want to shout out the league, Racing Revolution, for allowing me to be here every week. Great group of guys. Love being here. Vspeed, you guys up here in the booth, do an amazing broadcast each and every week for us. It's always fun to go back and watch. All the main primary sponsors of the league. Throwing a blank here. It's been a minute. Linseed and Air Conditioning, All About Bugs, Chapman Environmental, Earhart Homes, all the people that come together put on this league for us each and every week. All the friends and family I know are out there watching. My girlfriend Sarah. I think that's really all for me tonight, though.
We'll see you next week at Sonoma, buddy.
Yeah, hopefully get to talk to you guys again next week.
Strong chance. Carter Lynn's third place finisher here at San Diego. We'll travel a little bit further north when we go to Sonoma Raceway. Well, Alex, I'm glad you got to be a part of this, because what better race to have a rerun, you know?
Yeah, really. I mean, we took maybe the road course classic and gave it a new remix here tonight, and the end result was the same. Out there was very different overall, though. Granted, again, I was only here for about the back half of the race, but it was a ton of fun to tune in and watch.
You tune in next week. Sonoma Raceway coming up. I can't believe it's July already.
Yeah. The season's going fast. I was doing the math a second ago. Sonoma will be 7 races to go to the end of the regular season. Today was number 8, so we are very quickly winding down the crunch time here to see who's going to make the chase.
I'm going to turn 35 when this season ends. What do you think of that? So
I consider that a jump scare, is what I consider that.
I was 31 years old when we started broadcasting here for Racing Revolution. So if that doesn't tell you something.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, Chief. I just hit 27 this season. That was a few months ago at this point.
Well, we're gonna add a few more years to aging for Trevor Keith. He lost a few tonight, and he's gonna remember this one for a long time. Jeremy Burns finds his way back to victory lane. You can join us back for more road racing. We're gonna turn left and right at week 16, July 1st, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. Coming up on the 250th anniversary of America. That's going to do it for us here in the broadcast booth. We hope you enjoyed tonight's action. For my co-commentator, Alex Gagnon, who just joined me halfway through this race, Adam Baker, Eddie Smith, Morgan Cook, Logan Threlkeld. Bradley Cooper saying so long from San Diego. Stay tracking, everybody.